Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're actually talking about protein powders, collagen peptides, and what is the best supplement for you as a woman going through perimenopause, menopause, around the 40, 50, 60-year-old range. You'll see there's a lot of information online. Some of it's hype and misleading, some of it is scientifically correct. And today I'm going to break that down into a clear, science-backed way so that you can understand specifically what you need and maybe what you're wasting your money on and what you're possibly being tempted by with all the stuff on social media that actually might not be as effective as those people selling it are making out. So why does protein matter in menopause? Why would a protein shake be something you might want to consider, or indeed upping the intake that you eat naturally from your protein, whether you're plant forward, vegan or omnivorous? As we go through menopause, as our estrogen declines, it becomes much more difficult for us to develop muscle mass and to maintain lean muscle mass. You might find that as you go through menopause, you're getting more weight around your belly. You might be losing weight around your legs and your bum, but it's all rising upwards. In fact, it's pretty much the only thing that goes up as you get older. And one of the reasons for that belly fat gain, there are myriad reasons for it, but one of the principal ones is the fact that we're losing muscle mass. Muscle mass tends to decline as we go through menopause. Muscle mass is what helps to keep your metabolism fired up. So if you've got a faster acting metabolism, you're going to be naturally burning through more calories during the course of the day. So that is one of the reasons you may be developing belly fat. Muscle also has so many other benefits for us long term as we get older. So I keep banging on about it. If you're not strength training, please start, because it's one of the best things that you can do for yourself. But also when you are starting to strength train, or for whatever reason, if you decide point blank you don't want to, eating more protein and high quality protein is still going to support you. Because protein isn't just for our muscles, it supports our immune function, it supports your hormone balance. It even supports neurotransmitters that affect your mood. And we all know how easy it is to become irritable or frustrated or just feel low as we're going through those perimenopausal years into postmenopause. So protein is one of those things that you can most likely get adequately from your diet if you're eating sufficient protein. But today I'm going to lay it out what you need, what you ideally want to be looking for if indeed you want to take a protein supplement, and which are the best ones for you. Midlife women generally benefit from taking around about a gram of lean protein per pound of ideal body weight. So if you want to weigh 140 pounds, ideally you want to be aiming for around about 130 to 140 grams of lean protein daily. And that is quite hard to achieve. The vast majority of us are not eating enough protein. And with intermittent fasting, whether you follow it or whether you don't, that can compound the problem. I'm not going into intermittent fasting in any great detail today. Some people say it works for them brilliantly. I think generally as we go through menopause and beyond, it might not work as effectively as it used to do because it has a negative impact on our cortisol levels. But if it's working for you, keep with it. But the fact that you're possibly eating within an even shorter window throughout the course of the day, and we tend, even if we're not doing intermittent fasting, we tend to grab fast meals. I don't know about you, lunch for me is one of my biggest challenges. I can eat a healthy breakfast, I eat before my workout, after my workout, lunch. Does it even happen some days? Often not. And then I get to the end of the day and I'm starving hungry. I eat a really healthy, protein-packed meal, but I'm missing out on a key section, really, of the sort of 2 p.m. is when I would technically have my lunch. And I'm missing out on that. And I know when I'm missing out on those lunches, it does have an impact on my belly fat. It goes up, even though I'm eating less throughout the course of the day. There's still this misnomer that calorie restriction, to a degree, okay, you cannot be eating way more calories than you're burning every single day because you're just going to get fatter. But we do need to eat consistently. We need to eat healthy food, just ditch the sugars and the processed foods, or the ultra processed foods as they're now known as. Be mindful of the fact that if you're eating the cakes, the pastries, the takeouts, occasionally as a treat, they're fine, but not as a regular thing because they are going to pile the weight on. And most people are wanting to eat more protein, do the strength training, balance their hormones more effectively because of that weight gain. So ideally you want to be aiming for sort of 25 to 40 grams of protein per meal, including your snacks. One of the healthiest snacks you can eat, and one of the tastiest snacks you can eat, is if you have an air fryer or pan fry them, or even put them in the oven, edamame beans, and put some nice salt or healthy salt on them afterwards, not too much of course, or nutritional yeast would be even better. And that would make a really healthy snack if you are sort of, I tend to go for the snack in the afternoon because I've missed my lunch. So I tend to have those edamame. They're very high in protein. Of course, they're plant-based, and they're a really healthy, delicious snack that can keep you going if you're feeling like, you've just got this starvation window. And what do? Do you reach for the protein bar? Ideally not, unless you make your own, because generally they're stacked with sugars and they're not as healthy as they make out on the packet. Just makes a batch of edamame beans. You can buy them frozen from most supermarkets. Just whack them into however you're going to roast them and do a batch of them. You can always reheat them slightly if you want to before you eat them every day. Whether you have them cold or warm, I don't think it really matters, but they're a very tasty, protein-packed snack, full of fiber as well. So you're getting so much nutritional benefit from having your edamame beans midway through the afternoon, if in fact you're just like me and you tend to just not get around to eating lunches. I also want to talk about branched chain amino acids specifically, because if you're going to take a protein shake, that's generally what you're looking for in that protein shake. So that's leucine, isoleucine, and valine. Leucine is the primary one we need in order to build lean muscle, which is just so much more difficult as you get older. If you're worried about starting strength training because you think it's going to make you bulky, you are going to have to work so darn hard to get anywhere near bulky. I try it and see. I promise you, it's going to be so difficult to get bulky. We don't have the amount of testosterone in our bodies in any case for us to get bulky. You may have a genetic predisposition to lay down a bit more muscle tissue than the majority of us, but as we get older, that is going to become much more difficult. So don't let that stop you. Let that be your badge of honor. If you're finding it easier to lay down muscle, you really need it. It is the currency of longevity. The leucine is the one that really helps us build muscle. Isoleucine and valine are sort of the helpers that support the leucine to help us build that lean muscle. They support energy production and repair muscle tissue. And of course, when you're strength training, which hopefully you are consistently making micro tears in the muscle fibers, which is good. That's what you want to happen during strength training, which is also why it's so important to have your rest periods afterwards, because that's when the body rebuilds itself. And that's when the leucine, the valine, the isoleucine, protein as a whole is going to help you build nice, strong, lean muscle tissue to help fix those micro tears. And it's a repeat process. The more you strength train, the more you're going to break down muscle tissue, but then it will build up even stronger afterwards. So it is a continual process of breaking it down a little bit and then building it even stronger, and then rest, and then you break it down a little bit and then you build it even stronger. But like I say, it is so hard to get bulky from it. So it's never too late to start, and the sooner you start to strength train, the better. So how do we get leucine, and do we actually need supplements in order to get leucine? Leucine comes from complete protein sources, foods that contain all essential amino acids that your body cannot make on its own. Animal-based are things like eggs, fish, meat, Greek yogurt, dairy, etc. Plant-based are soy-based products like tofu, tempeh, legumes, whole grains, pea protein, pumpkin seeds, edamame beans. The most high quality protein powders, whether they are vegan or non-vegan, will contain the right serving, the right amount that you need, depending on the scoop size of leucine and valine and isoleucine. So you might be thinking, well, if leucine is the really important one, shall I just get a leucine supplement? You could do, but there are a few important points to consider. Muscles need more than just leucine. Leucine triggers the signal to build muscle, but your body still needs all of the amino acids in order to actually make the muscle tissue. Whole protein is more efficient. If you can get enough protein from your food, it has everything you need in it. So while the branched chain amino acids, those three specifically, are really helpful if you're building lean muscle tissue, if you're strength training, if you're eating enough protein through your diet, what you eat normally on a daily basis, you probably don't actually need to take a protein shake. They're just incredibly handy if you're really busy. If, like me, you often don't get a chance to eat a lunch, If I've got my protein shake, I can just neck that, and I know I've got a good 25 to 30 grams of protein in a quick serving. I get completely unflavored, so it's not got any of the rubbish. I'll go into that in a little bit more detail in a few minutes. I often add a little bit of extra stuff to it as well to pump it up a bit, and that will serve me really well. I know it's healthy, but in an ideal world, I'd have a plate full of healthy protein, salad stuff, various other bits and pieces, and that would be an even healthier meal. But looking at the practicalities of life and how busy we all are, if you're not getting a chance to sit down and eat your beautifully prepared lunch, have a protein shake because it will fill the nutritional gaps. So going into the difference between sort of plant proteins and animal-based protein powders, you'll often hear that animal-based protein powders are more bioavailable for us, and in a large part that is true. However, plant-based protein powders have come on so far recently, and a lot more people are taking plant-based protein powders. So I'm going to break those down first, and then I'll go through the animal-based ones afterwards, because I think it's really important that we look at both sides, or both sides of the options that we have available to us. I eat meat, but I used to take a vegan protein powder that I absolutely loved, and they don't sell that anymore. So I've had to change brands, and at the moment I'm taking a dairy-based protein powder, and it's horrid. But I mix it up myself with other ingredients to make it more palatable. But I'm so looking forward to finding something that I think is really easy for me to drink without me pretty much having to hold my nose and just force the stuff down, because right now I can't honestly say it's a pleasurable experience. However, making sure I get the protein is more important to me than enjoying the flavour of this shake thing that I'm forcing myself to drink. So yeah, you have to weigh it up. So to make sure you're getting enough leucine in your vegan plant-based protein powder, you're looking at around about 2.5 grams per serving to stimulate muscle protein synthesis. Examples are pea protein. It's highly bioavailable, which means the body uses it easily. It's quite similar to whey protein in that respect. Around 30 to 35 grams of pea protein will give you enough leucine per serving. But some people find pea protein a bit irritating to the gut. It might make you a bit gassy, a bit bloated, a bit uncomfortable. Rice protein has a lower leucine content, but it can still contribute. But you do need to watch out for arsenic content in the rice protein options. So make sure that you're choosing brands with transparent testing. If they're mentioning that sort of thing on the website, you're probably safe to go for it. It's when they don't mention it that you think, they probably aren't doing transparent testing, and you definitely don't want to be eating more arsenic than you actually need to. A lot of vegetables do contain natural amounts of arsenic in them, but nothing to the amount that would be a health risk for us. But just be mindful when you're buying these protein powders, whether they're plant-based or not, marketing labels can be so misleading. So ideally you want to go with one that literally almost gives you the third-party testing documentation on their website, and a lot of the better quality brands will actually do that. Pumpkin seed protein, I mean, pumpkin seeds are a great snack in any case. Again, they're one of my go-tos in the afternoon, but that is you can get pumpkin seed protein powder, and that's a good source of leucine, iron and zinc. Soy protein has been the one that I suppose has been the most common go-to over previous years, but it's less bioavailable than pea protein, but it can still be quite valuable, especially if you can tolerate soy protein. And I think the idea is not to obsess too much about what you get per scoop. Obviously you want a certain amount of protein per scoop, but also bear in mind what other protein sources you're eating throughout the course of the day. And if one type of protein seems to irritate your stomach more, then try the other options. I know pumpkin seed protein has got huge amount of positive ratings. So if that's something that you've not tried before, maybe try that one if you're struggling with soy or pea, or you don't want the risk of rice protein and the arsenic content that it might have. Going on to dairy. Whey protein powders are probably the gold standard of protein powders. Whey is high in leucine, is also very bioavailable. There's concentrate, isolate, and hydrolysate. Concentrate is the most basic form. If you're looking to buy your protein powder on a budget, that's the one you're going to be going for. It is a sheet that I put together for you so you can get a good understanding of what the various plant-based proteins contain, and also the dairy proteins. Concentrate has around about 80% of protein in it, but it does contain more lactose and more fat. The isolate is around 90 to 92%. That's a really high dosage of leucine per serving. Then you've got your whey hydrolysate, and that is a bit more expensive, but that is probably the best option if budget is not an issue for you, and if you want something that's highly bioavailable and also doesn't have that milky flavor. The problem I have is that it tastes like milk. I haven't got the hydrolysate. I've got the concentrate at the moment because I'm still working my way through different options. Next time I'm going to go for the isolate. I might find that a little bit better. I don't personally like the flavor of milk. Even though I eat cottage cheese and Greek yogurt, just the flavour of milk, yeah, it's just like vile. So I always mix mine up with half a banana and some berries and some oats and often a little bit of Greek yogurt. I also tend to add my adaptogen herbs in there. So I take ashwagandha and reishi daily as well as my creatine. So I bung everything in together. And actually the adaptogen herbs, they're pretty bitter as well. So, oh, and beetroot powder I add into that as well because that's really good for us. So it's a healthy concoction. It does taste like a very healthy concoction. There's no sweeteners or artificial stuff in there. It's quite brutal, but it gets the job done, and I really see it as my sort of healthy tonic throughout the course of the day. So take a screenshot of this if you'd like to. What I'll do also, I'll just upload this to my Google Drive, and then I'll add the link below in the description box. And then if you want to just grab this, you can do. And it'll literally just download as this. You don't have to sign up for an email or anything, but it will give you this information, which hopefully you'll find helpful as a reference if you're looking to get yourself a protein powder, and it sort of breaks it down as to what might be the best option for you. So on to collagen. Collagen has become a bit of a buzzword. Collagen type 1 and 3, those are the ones that are going to help to support or can support your hair, your nails, your skin. If you're looking for joint support, you're looking for collagen type 2. It will not necessarily help repair your cartilage, but it can help reduce the degradation and the breakdown of our joints and our cartilage as we get older. It's a bit about damage limitation rather than actually repairing. If you have got joint and cartilage damage, you're better off to have something like curcumin and boswellia to reduce the inflammation. Those possibly, there's still some studies ongoing, but there is some research pointing to the fact that they may actually help to heal cartilage degradation. I did a YouTube video about those not long ago. I'll link to it up here or there. I never know which one it is, but have a watch of that video because that very much was about joint inflammation. And if you're taking collagen for your joints, actually it is not the most effective supplement for your joints, even though it's marketed as such. Also, collagen does not contribute to your dietary protein intake. So if you're thinking, well, I have like 4 collagen tablets a day, so even though I'm not eating as much protein, surely I'm easily hitting my mark. Collagen is not counted as a dietary supplement because it contains absolutely no leucine, nor will it help you build muscle after a workout. I'm going to move quickly on to peptides, and then I'm going to come back to protein farts or protein gas or bloating that you might have heard of or you might come across if you if you take protein powders yourself. But I just want to cover the peptides bit because if you're anything on social media, you'll see these things popping up all the time. Just like, oh, I started taking these collagen peptides and I take this one, and this one, and this one. And oh, I feel amazing and my weight's gone down and I feel like I'm now 20 again and I'm just about to turn 60. It's all a load of BS. Please, please, please do not be misled. These things cost a fortune. And if you're eating a normal healthy diet or normal healthy diet plus a good quality protein shake, you do not need these. They are being marketed as these things that you necessarily need. I know a lot of the people because I used to work with them and I used to really admire them, and they've gone down in my estimation so much. The fact that they are now saying, oh, since I started taking these, I feel like this. Well, this is what they used to say when I worked with the same company when we were doing other supplements and other things that actually did work really well. the protein shake that I used to take from that company, I used to swear by, as well as the adaptogenic herb shake that I used to take, and they don't sell it over here anymore, which I'm absolutely gutted by, because I promise you, if they did, I would still be taking it. But the fact of the matter is, these people are saying, since they joined this new company, which was sort of November, December last year, they have now made these massive transformations. They have not. They're still overweight. They're still having inflammation. They are still looking exactly the same as they did a year ago, but now all of a sudden they're absolutely swearing blind that it's due to these little sachets of peptide things that they're taking every day. Do not be misled. For you, if you're watching them thinking, oh, it keeps popping up on my social media, maybe I'll just try them. Don't. Because I think you're going, honestly, I think you're going to waste your money. I think you will be misled. I know these people, and I just think it's a really sad reflection on the way our marketing and our society has gone. Yes, we do need protein, and if you're struggling to get enough protein in, have a high quality plant-based or whey-based protein shake in order to help you get your protein supplement. But you can get that for around about 25, 30 pounds or dollars a month versus probably 4, 5 or 6 times that amount for these little individual sachet things that they're selling. So please, 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 buyer beware. While these little sachets do contain peptides, amino acids, they are not the full amino acid profile. They are not the same as eating just a healthy diet combined with strength training. If you're not doing strength training, I know I said this earlier, maybe you don't want to, or maybe you can't, but if it's an option for you to start it, please start it. You don't have to make yourself feel like you're going to vomit after each strength training session, but it is going to make sure that you are healthier into your latter years, to give you energy, to help you build lean muscle, or if not build muscle, for you not to lose what you already have, to help you maintain a healthy weight, and to prevent brittle bone disease, osteoporosis. So few people who go into hospital with a hip fracture come out alive because of the added, they don't die from the hip fracture, they die from the various other issues that occur while they're in hospital, like the fact they're being pumped full of antibiotics, so their gut bacteria is pretty much nuked. They go into massive organ failure, or they get sepsis, or they develop pneumonia. Not everyone, of course, but it's a huge, huge percentage of people who go into hospital with a hip fracture who do not come out alive. So it's not just about the aesthetics. I think that the aesthetics are great because they make you feel more confident. And also, you know, you can do things. If I've got to lift heavy stuff, I know I can do it. I'm not going to worry about putting my back out, or breaking something, or pulling something. And I want to be like that for as long as I can be. I'm planning on living till 110. So I've still got half the way to go. So I've only just turned 55. And I think it's really important that we look at that longevity factor. The inconvenience of having to start strength training for just 20, 30, 40 minutes, 3 or 4 times a week will be such a benefit for you. And then when you're eating sufficient protein, possibly helping yourself with a protein shake, you will set yourself up for so much better health as you get older. Because once you start to lose it, it's much more difficult to build it back up. And you know, these things tend to bite us in the bum. All of a sudden you might develop some issue, which means then you're laid up for a while, and then you lose your muscle mass even faster. You do it from a preventative point of view and look for long-term health, strength, energy, confidence. It will help you age more happily, more healthily, and just know that you're kind of doing what your body needs you to do. So going into the gassy problem that a lot of people have with protein, the reason for that is the sugar alcohols in the less refined protein powders. Sugar alcohols are things like erythritol, mannitol, sorbitol, xylitol. If it ends in an itol, it's probably a sugar alcohol. And essentially those build up in the gut. We can take on a small amount ourselves daily, But when actually it's in so many health food or sort of performance type products. So really keep your eyes open for the ingredients label. If it's got an itol on the end, it's highly likely to be a sugar alcohol, and don't have it. And a lot of the cheaper protein powders have these itols in them. You don't want sucralose either. So there's more research pointing to the fact that when our tongue tastes sweetness, even though it might be an artificial sweetener, so it contains absolutely no sugar at all, the brain is thinking, okay, well, where's the sugar? It's coming because I can taste it, which is having an insulin response. Insulin is our fat storing hormone, and that's really what we want to combine with stress management. If we can control our insulin response as well, that will really significantly positively impact belly fat. So artificial sweeteners in and of themselves are not very good anyhow. But if you're thinking, oh, it's because, there's no insulin spike at all, studies are proving otherwise nowadays, because our tongue tastes it. And if our tongue tastes it, our brain's thinking, okay, the sugar's on its way, so I'll do what I need to do because sugar's coming. Don't be misguided thinking because it's an artificial sweetener that it's not going to have any impact on your blood sugars. It might well do. So my advice is to go for unflavored protein powders and flavor it yourself with, cinnamon, chocolate, or raw organic cacao, not drinking chocolate because that's very high in sugar, berries, banana, add some oats, Greek yogurt, that sort of thing. You'll find that will help to make it more palatable if you don't like that milky flavor. Some people love the flavor of milk, so you'll probably find just having it with water. I tend to have some in my Greek yogurt in the morning and mix that in, and then I will have my protein shake after I've done my workout as well. So I'm having like a couple of scoops before, and a scoop before my workout and a scoop after my workout. I do normally have a little bit of creatine before my workout, and I have more creatine after my workout. So I'm just having it in a couple of servings a day. Because again, creatine is one of those things that you might find a little bit of bloating in the early days. You will get used to that. I will dive more into creatine specifically in another episode. I did talk about various supplements for menopause in a recent video, and I will link that too. But some of the cheaper protein powders have also got fillers and xanthan gum and that sort of stuff in them. You don't want that. Go for unflavored and make sure that you're getting them as clean as possible. And don't fall for the hype. The peptides and the sort of, if you're just buying leucine, for instance, unless you've been advised to take a leucine supplement, Leucine, then it's probably marketing hype and you don't really need them. If you're taking a protein shake, you will be getting enough leucine in any case. And if you're managing to eat sufficient protein throughout the course of the day, again, you should be getting enough protein from your food sources, whether it's plant-based or not. Midlife strength, healthy longevity, vitality come from consistent, informed choices and then putting them into action and not marketing gimmicks. And small, smart changes done daily will make the biggest difference over time. When you think about healthy weight loss, which is around about £2 a week, if it's £2 a week, so that's £8 to £10 a month. So over the course of the year, that's £120 lost healthily. That's pretty good. So if you're, just as a quick caveat, if you're taking one of the GLP-1, the weight loss drugs, and you're not losing as fast as you think, oh, well, other people lose £9 a week on it, slow, consistent weight loss is healthier long term because you're probably losing fat rather than your muscle tissue and your bone tissue too, which happens with the very fast weight loss. And if you're on those, please, please, please make sure that you are strength training and make sure you're eating enough protein. If you change your lifestyle while you're taking these weight loss drugs, it will have a profound impact on how well you manage once you stop taking them. So in and of themselves, they do have a few side effects, and I've again chatted about those in detail in another episode. But do make sure that you're strength training, eating sufficient protein, drinking plenty of water, getting enough rest, and eating the fruits and vegetables. You'll find generally that your appetite for the unhealthy foods will not be as great, which is good because it's going to really support you while you get used to eating things that have not got so much sugar in, have not got that high carb kick that you might be used to feeling, and just make sure that you are creating those lifestyle changes while you're losing the weight so that when you come off them, you have a healthy start to the continued rest of your life feeling in the body that you want to be in. So thank you for your time today. Thank you for your company. I hope this has been helpful. I thought I'd dive into protein because it's one of those things that I get asked a lot about protein powders. Which one do I take? I honestly wouldn't necessarily recommend the one I take. I have mentioned it before in past episodes, but I don't really want to call them out. It's a pretty good brand. I personally, I just don't like the flavour of it. But like I said, I'm going to try the isolate next time, and maybe that will help a bit more. But even if you dislike the flavour, do it for you, just for your health gains. Literally hold your nose and down it goes, because you will still benefit from adding extra protein into your daily regimen, unless you're really ninja with your nutrition and you're easily hitting your protein targets. That is not to say that you shouldn't be eating your vegetables and your fruit and your healthy starchy carbs and all the other bits that go with it. It's not just your protein. I think that's obvious, but I thought I'd just mention that at the end. The vast majority of us do not eat enough vegetables either. Your vegetables are great for your gut health, which will help with your hormone balance and your weight loss too. They also help to keep you fuller for longer. So make sure when you're eating your portions of protein that you're serving it on a decent size of either salad or cruciferous veggies, ideally, because cruciferous veggies are really beneficial through your menopausal years. So your broccoli, your cauliflower, they again might make you feel a bit gassy, but you can sort of add other vegetables that you find more easy to eat as well. But make sure that you're eating a wide range of vegetables and fruit. If you're wanting a healthy snack, I always say, if people demonize fruit, which I think is ridiculous. Fruit has got so many good things in it. Normally I eat 2 to 3 dates a day. I eat at least an apple a day. I have my berries in the morning. Sometimes I'll have half a banana. Fruit's really, really good for us. Eat more vegetables than you eat fruit, because fruit is higher in sugar. But we need a wide range of all these nutrients that the vegetables, the fruit, and the protein and healthy fats contain. You need your olive oil, you need your avocado, grass-fed butter. Go for the things that a normal, natural human would eat. Think about what your ancestors may have been feeding on years back, and if you think they'd probably eat it, you're probably safe to eat it yourself. It's the ultra processed stuff which is causing the main problem, and the fact that we are so busy these days that we're not eating enough. And while you need to have some sort of, you can't be eating more calories than you need to consume, because otherwise you will put fat on. Rather than counting the calories, focus on the boosting your metabolism so you burn more calories, being a little bit more active, starting that strength training. And when you feed yourself with a good amount of protein and the vegetables and some fruit and some healthy fats, you will not be hungry. When you feed yourself properly, you don't get those hunger pangs because your blood sugars are all regulated and you're nourishing your body with what it needs. So I know I've gone off on a bit of a tangent. I could talk about this for years, and I think there's always something new to say. But feed yourself like your ancestors, and know that as we get older, your needs for protein go up. We do not synthesize protein as effectively as we used to do, and it's much more difficult to build lean muscle as we get older. And you've got that raised cortisol, which is a natural occurrence of lowering estrogen, is eating away at your tissues more quickly too. So even if you're strength training and eating protein, that cortisol is still nibbling away faster. So stress management is a big one. And get into a healthy routine as much as you can. Even if you fall off it every now and again, you're human. But try and create a healthy foundation for you, because that will support you going forward. And it is all about prevention and leading a life where naturally we're getting older, we are going to become more frail. Let's only become as frail as we absolutely need to. joints do ache a bit more. We don't have quite as much energy as we used to do, but we can still be really healthy given our biological and our chronological ages if we feed ourselves with what we need. So have a great week, and I will look forward to chatting with you again soon.